Welcome to Colonize the Ocean podcast, where we discuss oceanic colonization, exploration, and education with your hosts Adam Jewell and Brendan Traxler.
So, if you've been watching us, listening to us, maybe not, maybe this is your first time chiming in, you're catching us for the first time. I say us, I speak for the whole team. But let's do it this way. You're watching me for the first time, and you don't know much about what I'm working on and what ASC is. And I think one of the core elements of what ASC is the idea that of living at one atmosphere, and why that's important is to make the access to the surface seamless. I've spoken on many occasions about the grandma effect, I guess, as it was coined, where if the underwater habitat isn't somewhere my grandma can visit, then it's not right. Meaning, basically, if she can't take ladders, she can't really take stairs, so it has to be as easy as walking in and out as any hotel. And that also means the pressure as well has to be that of land. So how do we do all that? And even more so, what are the limitations of that? It's not something that typically underwater habitats do. Most of them are some level of saturation, some level of ambient, where that the inside pressure is meeting the outside pressure. And what that solves a whole host of problems, but causes them as well. So, when we're looking at one atmosphere underwater habitats, one thing is staying shallow at first, but how does that look down the road when we want to go deeper? How do we combat this one atmosphere pressure when you're 100 feet underwater at 3 or 4 atmospheres? And what does that look like? And obviously there are answers to all these things. And I've talked about this, Adam's talked about this, Babe has talked about this on multiple attempts as well. But I'm sure there's other areas out there that we haven't thought about. And maybe you're like, that's not going to work. I don't want to live in a one atmosphere habitat because of X, Y, Z, whatever it may be. I don't know what they are because, I haven't thought about that, or my brain hasn't comprehended or thought about that. But at first, I feel like that's definitely the way to go. Will there be ASC habitats that may be ambient? Sure, why not? But for an underwater Airbnb, for an underwater hotel, for an underwater private house, for an underwater weekend getaway, even an underwater business, you're most likely going to want that thing to be one atmosphere so that you can come and go as you want. It's the seamlessness of it. And I think that's what sets us apart from what anybody else there has done or is doing, is our focus and our drive for that. Does it eliminate some things? Possibly. Especially when you start getting into scientific research and needing to come and go, etc. Again, that can be addressed. But for what ASC is striving to do, where our focus here is, the one atmosphere is is what needs to happen. It's not even an area that if somebody came up to me tomorrow and be like, hey, whatever, it's not negotiable. There are certain elements about what ASC is and the business model and the plan for it that we can have that discussion, but there are certain areas that it's just not an option at this point in time. But as always, what's your thoughts on the whole thing? Does a one atmosphere underwater habitat seem like it's even more niche than an underwater habitat is already, and therefore it's not worth the time? Do you believe that it's the right path to go? Would you rather stay in an ambient pressure underwater habitat or a one atmosphere? Yeah. Comment below. Let me know. I'm always curious of what the viewers and the listeners have to say about these interesting little mind ideas that I get and put out here for everybody.